All right, deep divers, welcome back. Today we're going to really unpack a case that's made some serious waves. The conviction of former NBA player Ben McLemore.
Yeah, it's a significant one. Lots to talk about.
Definitely. So the basic facts. July 3rd, 2025, McLemore, he's 32, convicted by an Oregon jury. And the charges are heavy.
Very heavy. First-degree rape, first-degree unlawful sexual penetration, and second-degree sexual abuse.
And that second charge, unlawful sexual penetration, first degree in Oregon, it often covers non-intercourse sexual assault, right?
Like that.
Specifies certain acts.
Exactly. It defines the severity and the nature of the acts under the law there.
Now, this all stems from something back in 2021.
Right. It happened at a teammate's house party in Lake Oswego. This was when McLemore was playing for the Portland Trail Blazers.
Okay, so that's the setting. Our mission today is to get into the key details, the legal process, and, what it all might mean.
And I think what's really fascinating, or maybe crucial is probably the better word, is the core of the incident itself, the circumstances surrounding the victim.
Tell us about that.
Well, the victim was 21 at the time, and the reports, the testimony, described her as highly intoxicated. But the key thing, unconscious during the assault.
Unconscious. Wow.
And that detail is just absolutely vital. Legally speaking, you simply cannot consent if you're not conscious or capable of understanding what's happening. That's fundamental.
That seems like a cornerstone the jury had to grapple with.
Absolutely. And it really shows how the legal system, is focusing more and more on active, unimpaired agreement, real consent.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it makes McLemore's defense quite stark in contrast, doesn't it? Because he argued something completely different.
Completely. His defense was that the sex was consensual. He even went further, claiming the woman actually initiated it. He testified himself.
He took the stand.
He did.
So you have these two just polar opposite accounts. How does a jury navigate that?
Yeah.
Especially with intoxication involved.
It's incredibly tough. Jurors have to weigh everything: testimony, evidence, credibility. The prosecution really hammered the point about the victim's state. She regained some consciousness later, felt helpless.
Right.
While the defense focused on McLemore's perception, his claim of a consensual interaction, ultimately the jury found the prosecution's case, the evidence of her inability to consent, more compelling.
And that verdict sends a pretty clear message. Now, the next step is sentencing.
Scheduled very soon, July 9th, 2025.
And the potential time.
Yeah.
It's significant. Under Oregon law, we're looking at a minimum of 8 years, possibly up to 25 years in prison.
8 to 25. Yeah, it really underscores the severity.
It really does. It drives home the personal cost, the consequences, regardless of who you are. So beyond the courtroom, what are the ripples? What's the bigger takeaway here?
Well, I think that's exactly it. This conviction, especially tied to the victim being unconscious, it's more than just a celebrity being held accountable. It's a powerful reinforcement of that modern legal standard we talked about.
Affirmative, conscious consent.
Exactly. Affirmative, conscious, and continuous. It pushes back hard against those older, frankly harmful ideas that sometimes tried to muddy the waters when alcohol or drugs were involved.
Right. Shifting blame or downplaying it.
Precisely. This case really feels like it cements that understanding the legal system, catching up perhaps to the societal understanding of what real consent means, protecting vulnerable people, ensuring accountability.
Yeah, and for me, that's the core thing. It's not just this one case, is it? It feels like a public statement about these evolving norms, keeping the focus squarely on the perpetrator's actions and the absolute need for clear, capable consent.
Couldn't agree more. It's about accountability no matter who you are. And that brings up a thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. How does a conviction like this one, with all these specific, difficult details about consent and intoxication, how does that highlight the way we think about legal accountability, especially when it involves famous people? What does it make us consider about justice, the public eye, and our assumptions around consent, maybe particularly in situations where things like power or substance use are factors? It's definitely something worth thinking about.